Welcome to the afternoon breakout session. I'll be talking in detail about the two new products, Digestive Triple Plus and Immune Triple Plus. You know, as I was saying this morning, each of these products, and now that we have 4 products, can work by themselves. Each of them can do their particular area, but at the same time, each of them can support laminine so that laminine can get to where it's got to go, and then once it gets there, function as most effectively as possible. So these products are unique within themselves, but they're unique because they're going to help along the process of laminine. All right, for those of you who are here, I'll get started first with Digestive. I'll probably spend half the session on the slides, and then I'll welcome as many and all questions up to the hour when we'll have a break. So if you have any questions, I always used to tell my patients, you know, because when you go see a doctor, there's things that you have in your mind that you want to ask, and then you leave and you say, oh, I forgot to ask. So the best thing to do, I used to have in my lobby a paper that said, questions for the doctor, please write. And they would write them while they were waiting, because you know you have a lot of waiting time at a doctor's office. So they could write all their questions, and they'd come in, and then they'd get everything answered before they left. Okay, we'll get started. First of all, some of these are very similar to the ones this morning, except that most of them will go into greater detail. So first of all, with Digestive Triple Plus, did you know, again, 1/3 of all ambulatory care visits are related to digestive diseases. This is something that's written in the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, so it's a very true number. Nearly 70 million are affected with digestive products, and an additional 105 million visits are made to a physician for digestive-related problems. You know, when you go into the pharmacy, just look. You look and see how many, when you go to CVS or Rite Aid or Walgreens or wherever, you can see what people want the most, because they do have a vitamin aisle, but they also have a huge aisle for pain, which is number 1. The second biggest is cold and flu symptoms. And the third is digestive. In fact, as far as drugs are concerned, the number 1 drug in the world that's sold is a drug that's specific for gastric esophageal reflux, and it has been for several years. And then, of course, the second one would be the one for cholesterol. What is the digestive system? It's organs that convert food to nutrients that the body uses for growth, energy, and repair. The digestive system is one of the core disease-fighting systems in the human body. This is from the Division of Gastroenterology at the Department of Medicine at NYU. We don't usually think of the GI system as one that fights infection and fights disease. But there are over 3 trillion bacteria in our large intestines. And many of these are bad, and we want to try to pick up the ones that are good. And our product helps feed the ones that are good. The digestive system is less effective as we age. Nearly 40% of older adults have one or more digestive symptoms every year. I mean, you all know this because you have those symptoms yourself. And you wonder how you can avoid getting them. And you don't want to wait until the symptom comes to have to run to the pharmacy to get rid of them. Well, the problem, as we said this morning, starts very early, in the 20s. This is a very important slide, because people will ask me, well, what do I need enzymes for absorption for? I have my own. I have a pancreas. My pancreas is working. You know, why do I need more of these enzymes? Well, you need more because after age 20, every decade, you're getting less and less and less. And many of the prospects that you have that are older, in their 40s and 50s, by the time they turn 60, they only have half as much of the enzymes, half as much of the natural enzymes. So we want to put more in that will help you with that absorption. Enzyme deficiencies cause malnutrition. You would think, of course, that the #1 cause of malnutrition is, in many countries, not having enough to eat. Well, that's true. A lot of people don't have food. But if you can't absorb it, it doesn't matter whether you have it or not. You have to have the enzymes to absorb it. Otherwise, it'll go through your body. What happens to our bodies? There's an unhealthy balance of bacteria in the large intestine. That's very well known. That's why some of you and some of your friends and people that you know take probiotics, because they want to get the good bacteria in the large intestine. Beneficial bacteria are replaced by pathogenic organisms or bad bacteria. And of course, this increases the toxic load on your liver, on your kidneys, and on your heart and the rest of your body. So we have to change this balance, and that's why probiotics in general are good. What can we do? We're supplying a product, Digestive 3+, which is going to give you not only the probiotics, but the prebiotics that can feed the probiotics, and also the enzymes that can make sure that you get the full absorption of the nutrients you're taking. So, it's healthy, it's good because of healthy intestines and digestion, and most importantly, nutrient absorption. Remember that, as I said this morning, one of the issues that we felt was very important that people were asking us about laminine. Now that we have better circulation, what else could be wrong that wouldn't allow the laminine to get to where it's got to go? And that is if you don't have good absorption. And I already showed you, as you get older, you're having less natural absorption, so you need a supplement to help with that absorption. It's a complete digestive formula. Its ingredients is a stable probiotic, a prebiotic blend, and an enzyme blend. Once again, when you go out and you try to look at prospects and say, look what I've got, they're going to say, I have my yogurt already and I take my probiotics. I don't need anything else. There have been several studies out there that have shown that 95% of the probiotics that most people take don't even get to the large intestine, let alone help the bacterial balance. And that's because most probiotics cannot stand the low acidity or the low pH that is in high acidity, low pH in your stomach. That's talking about 5 and 4. That's a pH of 5 or 4, which is very harsh on many supplements, but especially probiotics. So if it doesn't get to the large intestine, you might as well not take it, because that's the whole point of taking it. And that's why we added the prebiotic, because the prebiotic, it will help in the acidic range of the stomach and at the same time, it will feed the probiotic. And of course, the enzyme blend, which is what we need for the absorption. So, probiotic equals for life. Let me talk a little bit about, there are so many different strains of probiotics. And most of you know about acidophilus and the bifidal ones, and there's so many different strains. It was really difficult for us to figure out which strain we wanted to use in this product. And we specifically picked the Bacillus coagulans, 1.5 billion CFUs. And the main reason is, number one, it's a spore forming. That is, the spore forming probiotics are the toughest probiotics on the market because they themselves can get through the stomach acidity. They're very stable, they're heat resistant, they naturally have a protective coating, and they, of course, aid in the elimination of factors that can cause indigestion as well. But the most important point is number one, spore forming. The spore forming strains of probiotics are extremely tough, and again, can withstand a pH of anywhere between 4 and 5, which is what the pH of your stomach is. And the statement at the bottom from the National Library of Science, the NIH, it has been demonstrated that some strains of Bacillus coagulans can survive extremes of heat, acidity of stomach, the bile acids to which commonly consumed probiotics are susceptible. Once again, what that means is most probiotics are very susceptible to being denatured and broken down in the stomach acidity of 4 to 5. That does not happen with the spore-forming probiotics. And again, this is from the National Library of Science of the NIH. So this is the reason why we picked this particular probiotic. Probiotic, what does it do? Again, it displaces the bad bacteria and provides good bacteria. It keeps large intestine healthy and functioning. It neutralizes the acid in your stomach to help with indigestion, stomach discomfort, and bloating. Randomized, placebo-controlled studies suggest that probiotics significantly reduce antibiotic-associated diarrhea by 52%, reduce the risk of traveler's diarrhea by 8%, and that of acute diarrhea of diverse causes by 34%. Again, this is the National Library of Science, National Institutes of Health, and the NIH, which is showing that antibiotic-associated bacteria that cause the diarrhea can be reduced by taking the appropriate probiotics. Again, assuming that they get there and assuming that they work. So many probiotics do not make it into the large intestine, as I've stated over and over again. The solution is a sustainable probiotic, a probiotic, and then the prebiotic that feeds the probiotic as it travels through the entire GI system, from the stomach to the small intestine to the large intestine. Okay, once again, these are issues that you have to be very clear with your prospects when you speak to them. Because obviously they're going to look for the cheapest, easiest way out to use a probiotic. But then again, what good is a probiotic if it doesn't get to where it's got to go? The prebiotic is very different. And we, right from the beginning, when Ricky and I were discussing this product, I was adamant that we had to have a prebiotic blend together with the probiotic. These are potent natural sources. They're known as short-chain fructooligosaccharides, Jerusalem artichoke, dandelion leaves, and yacon root. All of these are all prebiotics. They're stable and sustainable. They're not affected by heat, cold, and time. They're effective because they fuel the probiotic and aid with eliminating the factors that cause indigestion. Again, there are other products out there that have prebiotics and probiotics, but they don't have our third part, the enzyme blend, and they don't have this probiotic. So anytime you take a probiotic, you need the prebiotic with it. I just came actually from a GI conference, for pediatric GI conference in Atlanta, where all the gastroenterologists, pediatric gastroenterologists were there. And they were extremely adamant that if you're going to give this tiny little baby, a neonatal baby, some probiotics, which they do with their GI system, that you also have to give them a prebiotic, a combination of the two, in order for both of them to work. But that the probiotic would not work without the prebiotic. And this is, again, in neonatals. And they suggest that we start using it as of that age. So they don't need to go on all these other medications. And believe it or not, these little babies, sometimes they give them Prevacid or Meprazole, all these drugs that are, have damage. Well, we don't even know how damaging they are in neonatals because we don't have any studies yet. But even the traditional general medicine specialists like gastroenterologists believe in pre and probiotics. So if it's good enough for them, it's certainly good enough for us. So a prebiotic, what does it do? As I said, it fuels the probiotic, so it safely arrives to the large intestine, allows the probiotic to maintain a vital bacterial balance, which is essential for intestinal health, of course, and it neutralizes the acid in the stomach, too, to help with indigestion, stomach discomfort, and bloating. Again, the prebiotic is crucial to be added to the probiotic. Okay, and then for those people that you come to that say, well, I can buy a pre and probiotic here or there, and there are several combinations out there because we've looked at all of them, but none of them have an enzyme blend with it. The enzyme blend is crucial because it works on the small intestine to ensure proper digestion of food and absorption of nutrients. Many of you don't know, it's hard to see where the pancreas is on most anatomical pictures, but most of the pancreas is in your back. It's behind the stomach. And just the front head of it is right, pokes out in front of the stomach. The pancreas has two main functions. An endocrine function, because it is the only organ that makes insulin. So it's crucial for sugar balance and for diabetics. But the other function is just as crucial. If you don't have a pancreas, you cannot absorb proteins, carbohydrates, sugars, or fats. You have to actually take synthetic enzymes that are made by pharmaceuticals when we have natural ones. So if you don't have a pancreas, that the gastroenterologist will write scripts for synthetic digestive enzymes to absorb all these. Now, in this particular blend, this is a busy slide, but I'll go through it slowly. The three main enzymes that the body makes and we utilize are protease, amylase, and lipase. Protease is, as it sounds, is for proteins and to absorb protein. Amylase is to absorb carbohydrates. And lipase is to absorb fats. Now, in addition to that, we have a few specialized ones. We have a total of 3 different proteases in ours and a peptidase. So we have 3 extra proteins for absorption. Why is that? Because laminin is all protein. It's amino acids and proteins along with the egg. So we wanted to make sure that there was enough to help you with the digestion of the laminin. Again, with the carbohydrates, you have amylase, and then you have glucoamylase, which really works specifically for sugars. And then you have, as I said, below the fats is the lipase, but we have some extra ones in there for the refined sugars because our diets here are so bad, and there is so much refined sugar in our diets, that the invertase will work on the refined sugars that we have in those diets. And the acid maltase helps with glycogen, or packed sugar needed for muscles. Now let me talk about that a little bit more. Carbohydrates, there's some that go immediately into the blood. And those that go immediately into the blood are what's known as the 5 white sins: potatoes, pasta, bread, sugars, and rice. Those, what we call 5 white sins, are what we tell diabetics not to eat as much, or just to eat a quarter of their plate. Again, those potatoes, pasta, rice, bread, sugar. So those sugars go into your bloodstream, and if you don't burn them off, they'll eventually just turn into fat. Or, for a diabetic, they'll just keep rising. Now, the complex sugars are different. Those are the sugars that you have in your vegetables and fruits. They go immediately to the liver and then go through a process to get stored in the muscles to be used for energy. So they need enzymes as well to be absorbed, because those are kind of, if there's such a thing as a good carbohydrate, those are the good carbohydrates that you want to make sure are get to where they got to go for energy. Okay, and then in addition to all of the enzymes, we also have alpha galactosidase, which are sugars that are in specific vegetables. And this is what they call cruciferous vegetables. And then there's also a nice little enzyme called lactase. This is good. The sugars found in the milk and dairy products that may actually help with people who are lactose intolerant. So if you come across somebody who's lactose intolerant, you can tell them that they can take these enzymes as well. All right. 70% of the American diet is processed food. Many processed foods completely lack natural digestive enzymes. Let me say that again. Real simple. Most of our diets, 70%, does not have any digestive enzymes, at least not natural ones. So your body doesn't have the tools it needs to digest the foods that you're eating or absorb the nutrients from them. You know how we always say, you eat your vegetables and fruits, your grandmother would say, so you can get those nutrients. Again, if you don't absorb them, why eat them? Okay, so your body, without a healthy digestive system, consuming all the best nutrients, will serve little purpose in our bodies and are not digesting, absorbing, or utilizing them properly. Okay, so you just want to make sure that what you take in, nutrients coming from fruits, vegetables, other good foods, and supplements, that they get absorbed in the small intestine. So we have what we consider a superior formula. The LPGN Digestive Triple Plus has the probiotic, the Bacillus coagulans, the prebiotic blend to help feed the probiotic, and the enzyme blend, which has 11 digestive enzymes for maximum absorption. It is a much more superior formula than you're going to find anywhere in the market. Again, there's lots of probiotics. There's a lot of pre and probiotic combinations, but very few, but none of them have the enzymes, which is what we really want in this product to make sure that the absorption is at its optimal level. As we age, our systems function less efficiently. It happens naturally. We are going to absorb less. So we have to take something that the digestive, circulatory, and immune systems, even though they're interdependent, when one weakens, they all weaken. Healthy living is accomplished when all of our systems are working together in perfect synergy. Let me explain this synergy once again. The little white capsule that you put in your mouth, that you know is laminine, has to go in through the esophagus, has to go into the stomach, has to travel through the small intestine, and has to be absorbed. So you must have a supplement that helps you absorb that protein. Then once it's absorbed, what happens to it? It crosses into the circulatory system. In the small intestine, it crosses over into the blood system. Okay, now the powder in the little white capsule has to get to your problem. If your problem is in your brain because you're forgetting things, then it has to go to the brain and cross the blood-brain barrier. And that all happens because of omega triple plus. Then once it gets to your brain cells, it's got to work. How is it going to work? It won't work if your immune system is compromised because it cannot repair, it cannot rejuvenate, it cannot do anything. Because the body is now working on the immune compromised system that you have. So by boosting that immune system, now the body will pay attention to the laminine in your brain, and that laminine can then function to repair and rejuvenate the cells that have been damaged in your brain. Thank you.